Here, founder of World's Biggest Gym, which specialises in personal development training and life coaching. And welcome to this presentation. This was a presentation I recently gave at the Power of the Mind Summit. And I know there was a few people that missed that presentation. So what I wanted to do was record the presentation, go through exactly the same presentation that I delivered. It won't be as fast as the one I delivered because I had a 20-minute slot. This is probably going to be a little bit longer than 20 minutes, but not too much. So welcome to this presentation. This presentation is about your beliefs are creating your life, and they're for better or worse. They're either causing that smiley face or they're causing that disappointed or sad face. So let's get straight into it. So here's a question for you, and it's slightly rhetoric. Would you like to get better results in life? Would you like to remove emotional pain? Would you like to have an easier life? And would you like to have even more energy? Or option E, would you like all the above? And I can imagine that everyone's thinking all of the above. This is what we're going to talk about. And when we talk about beliefs, we have the ability, once we understand these beliefs and the impact on us, to change them, and changing our beliefs can tick off every single one of these boxes. It's absolutely profound. So in this presentation, I'm going to talk about how beliefs are formed so you can understand, that's where they come from. And if we've put them in, if we've constructed them, then we can deconstruct them as well. So we're going to talk about how to destruct them and deconstruct them as well. So if you don't know of me, Massy, that's my rap sheet there. I call it a rap sheet. I don't know where I got the saying rap sheet from. Ex-Army Major, so I was in the Australian Army for about 14 years. I was a lead consultant to the Olympic Games for about 5 years. And for that 5 years, I was doing all of my work, the majority of my work, through interpreters and translators. So for 5 years, I polished up my game of charades, so it's absolutely fantastic. So never challenged me to a game of charades. I'm an NLP Master Practitioner, Hypnotherapist, Life Coach, Reiki Master, Fitness Instructor, and founder of World's Biggest Gym. But that's less of what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is the fact that I used to be Mr. Unlucky. Now, there was a time in my life, and it was pre-1999, where things would just go wrong for me. I was forever getting into trouble. Things were forever blowing up in my face, and I got to a point where I had too much pain. I had to do something about it. A couple of incidents led to this pain point, getting too much, and I'm like, I've got to do something about it. I was drinking too much, and I was not happy with life. So I did a personal development program, and then I started realising that my luck had changed, and I was now Mr. Lucky. So I wanted to understand. I'm someone who, frustratingly enough, asks my partner why all the time. I'm always curious about the why. Why does this happen? Why is it like that? Why? I go on and on. So what I wanted to understand was, why was this change, and how was this change? What happened that not only changed me to thinking I was lucky, but actually changing my entire luck? There was a time, and it was in the year 1999, and I was looking at getting out of the army at the end of 2000 after I finished working on the Olympic Games for Sydney. And I decided, I think I need a little bit of extra money to pay some old debts off, and because I'm going to finish the army and then I'm going to travel for a year in 2001. So what I did was started looking for part-time jobs, and I thought, if I earn about $200 a week, that'll clear all my debts and I'll be free sailing for when I go away. So I started looking around. Then all of a sudden, my boss's boss gets recalled, has to go away. My boss steps up into his position, and on paper, I stepped up to my boss's position, so I got higher duties allowance. I actually got $200 extra each week in the hand, and my job description didn't change. I was doing exactly the same thing from one day to the next, but I had an extra $200 in my hand. That was part of this, change for me, this becoming Mr. Lucky. So I want to talk about some clients. I want to give some examples of the impact of our beliefs. So this was a client of mine. That's not exactly my client there, that's a representation of a client I once had who had this belief, and she had a belief that she gets fifth choice. She had a belief that she got fifth choice in life because she got brought up as the fifth sibling. So she got conditioned to think that I can't have first choice or second choice or third choice. I get about the fifth choice. So I generally don't get exactly what I want. That's for someone else. So she starts forming this belief, and then she grows up and she starts playing out her life where she doesn't, go for the person that she most wants to be with. She doesn't go for the job she most wants to have. She doesn't go for those things that she truly wants in her life. So we do some funky stuff. We do a neuro-linguistics programming technique, an NLP technique that was, I don't know whether it was pioneered, but it was certainly made big by Tony Robbins. A simple technique, but highly effective. And what we did was we installed a new belief. So she changed her old belief to this, I get first choice. Can you imagine how much someone's life changes if they think, I'm allowed to have first choice? Instead of like going for the average thing, the thing that I don't mind this, but it's not my first choice. Now they're actually reaching out for their first choice. And when you reach out for your first choice, you have a ridiculously higher probability of getting that first choice. If you don't actually reach out for it at all, you have zero probability of getting that. So change the entire course of their life. Suddenly going for the person that they most want to be with, going for the job that they most want. So it was an absolute complete change of that person's life as a result of, as you can see there, just changing one little piece of this belief statement. So how do beliefs relate to results? Beliefs actually determine our behaviour, and there's a couple of little steps in there. As we believe something and as we have the thought related to that belief, we feel a particular thing, and it's our feelings that determine, that cause us to act, and that behaviour. So we act in a particular way, we behave in a particular way. So our beliefs determine how we're going to behave. If I have a belief that the world is an unsafe place, I will behave in a way that is a little bit closed off. I'll be a little bit nervous when I'm looking about. I may be less likely to do the things that are possible to do on this planet because I have this belief. So it determines how I'm going to act in my life. And I've done lots of travelling around the world, and I know that the people who are most fearful of something going wrong are the people that have the highest likelihood of something going wrong, of something getting stolen or them being taken advantage of. It's because they draw to them, like moss to a flame, someone who will take advantage of their fear, someone who will feed on their fear and take advantage of them. So their belief actually creates the result they get in life. Now, this is a good thing in the end because it means that we can reverse engineer. Don't like the results you're getting in life? Change your belief. Don't like your position as far as the work you're doing? Change your belief about what's possible for you. Don't like your finances? Change your belief about money and your relationship to money and how to make money. So it comes back to, we want to change the results, we change the beliefs. So how are beliefs formed? And I've got this great picture here of the subconscious mind, the conscious mind, and our young fella there. Now, subconscious mind can also be called the unconscious mind. So it's below our conscious awareness. And I've put that representation there. It's much bigger than the conscious mind because the conscious mind can take in about 40 environmental stimuli per second versus the subconscious mind that can take in about 20 million. So we're talking about 500,000 times more powerful. And the biggest takeaway from that is we want to have our subconscious mind in alignment with our conscious mind. We want to not be thinking that we're going to go this direction. Our subconscious mind is pulling us in a different direction. We want to make sure that's in alignment. And the reason I've got that good-looking young lad down at the left bottom corner there is that represents a child below the age of about 7 years of age. And below about the age of 7, the brain is still forming. And in that brain state, in that developing brain state, the brain is in what's called a theta brainwave state. Now, you don't need to understand exactly what that is, but you do need to understand that in hypnosis, that is what the brainwave state someone is in when they're being hypnotized. And when someone's being hypnotized, they're being given commands, and they will take those commands exactly as they're said and play them out. So here we are, we have a young child which is believing every single thing that they are being told by those people that are closest to them and have the biggest influence in their life. And before I go on with my next point, I just want to make a note here. It's not their fault. So I'm not out witch hunting anyone's mum, dad, or society at large. What I am suggesting is these people in our life may not have been expert psychologists, psychiatrists. They may not have understood exactly the best beliefs to install in that young mind as it's going through that development stage. And there's stuff that we were taught that may have been appropriate, 10, 20, 30 years ago, but don't apply today. So we carry around old beliefs in our subconscious mind as a program that is not appropriate for today. So we need to try and understand what our beliefs are so that we can, get rid of the ones that aren't serving us. So what does this mean to us? So we've got this subconscious mind which becomes filled with other people's beliefs and programs. We've picked them up as a young child, and there we are as a young adult, or yes, a young adult. And we're carrying around these beliefs. So you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s and beyond, and you're still carrying around in your subconscious mind programs that are based on other people's beliefs. So what we need to do is to determine whether they're working for us or not. Because what scientists have indicated is that we're probably running on autopilot. Our behaviour is on autopilot about 95% of the time. When we're thinking consciously, we're using the neocortex, which is the most evolved part of our brain. We have the reptilian brain, which is the lower evolved, then we have the limbic brain, and then we have the neocortex. That is where the thinking is happening. So that's when we're fully conscious, doing our best thinking, our best creating. So these guys suggest that 95% of the time we're not in our best thinking space, we're running on autopilot. Now that's all right if our autopilot is running the perfect programs that are putting us in the greatest state, which are getting the greatest results for us. But oftentimes the stuff on autopilot, those old beliefs aren't serving us. It might be that we had an old belief from when we were 7 years of age where if I throw a tantrum, I'm going to get love and affection. I'm going to get that attention that I seek. So as a 35-year-old, still playing out that tantrum in whatever way it is evolved to, still thinking at a subconscious level, if I, cause this drama, I'm going to get more attention, I'm going to get more love and connection. Obviously, that doesn't serve, so it's about understanding what these beliefs are. And here's the number one thing about beliefs. Beliefs are not universal laws. And that diagram represents someone stepping off, and gravity is a universal law, regardless of the age of that person, the colour of that person's bank account, regardless of anything about that person's religious beliefs, irrelevant. If that person is heavier than air, they will go down. Gravity will draw them down. So that's a universal law. Beliefs are not universal laws. They're not 100% true. In 100% of cases, we make them true. And the reason I say this is what we want to get clear about is we don't want to get fixated on what we believe to be true and think of as a fact. We don't want to drop in our sword over, sticking to that belief. What I've found is the happiest people in life are the ones with the most flexible beliefs. So they choose beliefs for different circumstances. And they're also comfortable letting go of a belief that doesn't serve them, doesn't work, or is inappropriate, or they find new information. So we need to be open to that. And, scientists are telling us neuroplasticity for our minds. Our mind can continually evolve until the day we die. We're creating new neural cells right up until the day we die. So our mind is like plasticine. Just because we believe this once upon a time doesn't mean we're stuck with playing that belief out for the rest of our lives. So here's another client I had, and this client had a belief that I must be liked by everyone. Now, the first thing, as soon as I see something like that, I'm like, well, you're going to be unhappy, because no one that has ever walked the face of the planet has ever been liked by everyone. Mother Teresa was not liked by everyone because some people thought that she had sold her soul out to the companies that were providing the money that she was putting into the charity work. The Dalai Lama, who teaches peace and gratitude and compassion, is obviously upset the Chinese, and the Chinese, aren't a big fan of his, or the Chinese government, I should say. There's other people that have walked the face of the earth that are highly involved individuals, and they've had stones thrown at them, or they've been put to death. So these people who were like, what we believe to be highly evolved were not liked by everyone. So the news is for everyone, you will not be the first person who is going to be liked by everyone. Face facts. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of that. And we want to loosen it up. So we formed this new belief, and this is the belief that we planted, going through this particular process, which I'll talk about shortly. It is okay if people don't like me. And you might think that sounds a little bit negative, but what that did with this individual was made them more relaxed when they went into social engagements, because they were not so worried about whether they would be liked or not, which meant they were more themselves, which meant that people liked them more because they were themselves, because they were relaxed, because they weren't sort of fearful, worrying about this interaction, trying to say the right thing. So they're just like, well, I don't care if people don't like me. I'll just be who I am. And when that person is who they are, the power of the individual, the authentic, unique self that's residing within them gets fully expressed. And people love that. People love people who are authentic. What's on the inside is what's expressed on the outside. So this changed this person's life in a major way. Okay, so what should I believe? I've been talking about beliefs and good beliefs, bad beliefs and that. Any belief that makes you feel empowered, that is what you believe. There's no right or wrong. There's empowering and there's disempowering. The empowering belief, so if you have a belief and it makes you feel powerful or relaxed or focused or confident or energized or unstoppable, keep it. It is absolutely the belief you want to hang on to. What I'm most interested when I work with clients is trying to understand what are the disempowering beliefs. What are the beliefs that actually slow them down? What are the beliefs that cause them pain? What are the beliefs that cause them to close up and not become the best person? Because what happens when someone is disempowered, or when that belief is a disempowering belief, there's an expression of some type of fear. And what happens when we feel fear? That reptilian part of our brain kicks in the fight or flight. What that does at a physiological level is it changes blood flow through our body. And it actually stops the blood flow to that neocortex. I said the most evolved part of our brain, the bit that makes us, stand head and shoulders above the rest of the animals on the planet. The neocortex is where we do our greatest thinking, our greatest problem solving. We come up with our smartest ideas. So when we're disempowered, fight or flight, we don't get blood to that area, so we're actually dumber. We're actually less likely to come up with the solutions that we need to take us through this point. So whatever the belief is, if it disempowers us, it reduces our inherent power, our capacity to become and do and be everything that we can possibly be. So it's about what is that pain point, and this is what I look at with clients. I'm like, where's the biggest pain in your life? Because there's going to be a belief tangled up in amongst that, which is causing you to not be your best self. And as a result of that, you're not getting the best result. So we want to get rid of that. We want to surgically remove it from your being. So here's the $1 million question. How do I change my beliefs? How do I change my beliefs. There's a big blank screen there. This is, there's different ways of doing it, and there's certainly ways of doing it from a therapy type perspective. So there's neuro-linguistic programming techniques, NLP techniques, there's hypnotherapy techniques, there's lifeline technique, there's timeline therapy, there's lots of different therapies that look at getting into the subconscious mind or that unconscious mind. And what those techniques are doing is sort of they're bypassing the critical conscious mind and embedding beautiful, good things at the back of the mind that empower the individual. So empower you. So those are the ones, and that's the technique to get in there. Now, obviously, we can't do that technique. I don't have the capacity to do that with you right now, so I'm going to give you a mini self-applied version so you've got something to use right now. So the first thing you do is bring awareness. Once you bring awareness to your beliefs, once you understand what beliefs are holding you back, then you can catch yourself out. Then you can use that conscious part of your mind, that neocortex, that super smart part of your mind, to go, whoa, stop. I'm playing out the makes me feel bad belief. So, catching yourself out. Oh, this is one of my disempowering beliefs. I need to stop that. So becoming aware is the cornerstone, the key piece, the foundation, the first thing you do. Next thing you want to do is you want to choose the opposite of that disempowering belief. So disempowering belief is the world is an unsafe place. You want to choose a different belief. The world is a safe place. So you change that belief. And that changes, you would like to go through life thinking the world is a safe place so that you can be more relaxed. It's not saying that you're going to put the blinkers on and you're going to wear these rose-coloured glasses and you're going to just wander gaily through life hoping that nothing ever happens. All it's doing is like pulling you away from that disempowering space where you thought the world was unsafe, putting you into a more relaxed state because, the world is a safe place. So it just opens you up. It doesn't mean the blinkers come on. It just relaxes you more so then you are more conscious of what's happening around you. Next thing you do is you plant that and you just repeat that over and over again. So you come up with that statement. So whatever your statement is, so whatever your empowering belief is, which is the opposite of your disempowering, you plant that and you repeat it. And repetition for the mind starts to cause new neural pathways. And what the mind wants to do is actually, as soon as it can, take a habit and put it into the subconscious space because that uses less energy. So if we repeat something often enough, the brain's going, yeah, okay, I've got it. Let's put that in the subconscious. Let's make this habitual. And it becomes habitual when you're acting it out. So we want to link our thoughts, our thinking, with our movement of our body. So link it with our behavior. So then we're connecting our brain and the process going through there with the chemical reactions through our bodies which cause our body to move. So we want to link the two of those up. We want to link the physical movement, the behavior, up with the thinking. And when we've got those, when it becomes a habit, a subconscious habit, there's where we want to be at. We want this belief to be playing on loop recording without us having to do anything about it. So the end result we have is we end up with conscious empowering beliefs that we've planted, leading to conscious actions, which leads to desired results. And that's where we want to get to, having those desired results. Now, for the next little while, so I did the presentation on the 9th of August, so through until the 17th of August, I'm going to be offering that digital book on beliefs shaping your life. You can get it free for the next 7 days. So what you need to do is go into Facebook page, the World's Biggest Gym Facebook page, and there's a link in there as to how to get through to that page so you can download the digital book. The digital book goes into a lot more detail, a lot more depth about understanding beliefs. And the fantastic thing about that ebook is at the end of the ebook, it has a workshop in there where you can identify what your beliefs are in key areas of your life. And I strongly, strongly recommend that you check that out. It is a life changer when you become aware of what beliefs are driving you. Once you become aware, then you can do something about it. Now, obviously, if you want to go a deeper dive, if you want that, one-on-one support, that coaching support and those specific NLP techniques to change your belief systems, then make sure you check out the super fantastic 30-Day Happiness Challenge. And the aim of the 30-Day Happiness Challenge is to change your default level of happiness. So it's not for people who are unhappy. It's about wherever you are, whatever level you're at, let's take it up to the next level. Let's raise your default level of happiness to the next level. The other one is you're always welcome to check out Strategic Happiness podcasts on iTunes. They're all free. I do 1 or 2 of those a week, so there's some great resources there to check out. If you want to talk to me directly, if you've got a question for me that you would like to put right in front of me, my door is always open. So carl@worldsbiggestgym.com. So I hope you've enjoyed that presentation on beliefs and how beliefs are shaping your life and understanding, how they're created. So then you can start looking at, once I identify these beliefs, once you look at those beliefs that aren't serving you, then time to do something about them. So the ebook there has that workshop in there. So just make sure you're getting quick with that one. If you miss out on the 7 days, drop me an email and we'll see what we can work out. Okay, so I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are on this incredible, beautiful, wonderful, glorious, crazy planet of ours. All the very best and take care.